Hi everyone, and welcome back to Chromatic Knits. My name is Michelle, and I'm coming to you from Arkansas in the United States. I'm so happy to have you here, so welcome back to everyone who's returning, and welcome to everyone who's here for the first time. In case you hear bells tinkling and other weird noises, my puppy and my kitten are up here, so they like to chase each other around. They're fine, they're just having fun, so just be aware that that might happen. This has been another crazy week. You know how they say things come in threes. It's just kind of one of those things. So we have mice in our house that have gotten in through a vent that I guess the screen fell in. So we had lots of people out looking to see where they are and how they got in and doing all that stuff. So now we're in the process of getting that patched up and getting the mice out of here. Yeah, Monday I went down, I was in our bathroom, and all of a sudden I hear this like scratching, but I thought it was our cat because sometimes he'll do this big thing where he like scratches up on the wall, and I was like, oh, it's just him. It wasn't him. Yeah. But I am so happy to be here with you all. So that is the drama of this week. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know. My allergies are going crazy because it's trying to shift to fall outside, but it's still like 85 degrees and rainy and gross today. So my allergies are like, what is happening? Like, what are we doing? Yeah, like, I believe in the power of Allegra. We got this. So, yeah, so that's happening. So if you hear me coughing, it's just allergies. I'm not sick. My allergies are just going crazy. I don't know if anybody else is experiencing that. If you're experiencing that, let me know. It's not just me. Okay, so I have a few things that I've worked on this week, and then a few things I'd like to talk about. So we do have a knit along going on. We have the Finish It Mal make along, which means that you can do any kind of craft. So it could be drawing, it could be painting, it could be cross stitch, it could be knitting, it could be crochet, any craft. The only thing is that it cannot be 50%, cannot be more than 50% done. So it cannot be more than half done. Okay, especially if it's something that's been lingering and that you haven't been doing for a while. And my dog has my cat's head entirely in her mouth. Be easy on him. Whatever. So, siblings. That's how it goes. He's fine. Oh, he's got her on the ropes. Okay, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, especially if you have something lingering that you haven't been doing or that you just haven't wanted to pick up, and now is your time to finish it and get it off the needles. So the make along ends September 30th. If you are on Ravelry, we have created a group, and I've created a thread for this make along, so you can post any kind of discussion, or you can post any finished objects, anything in there. I will be checking that thread, as well as you can use the hashtag on Instagram if you're not using Ravelry or don't feel comfortable using Ravelry. Totally get it. Please go on Instagram and use the hashtag #FinishItMal. So hashtag #FinishItMal, and I will be picking a winner from those places for the end of this make along. Possibly more than one winner. I haven't decided yet. So we'll see how many prizes I have going into this. So if you're interested in doing that, please join. It is not too late to join. You can join at any time. We still have until the end of this month, because I want as much off the needles as possible before I start the Stephen West MCAL, which I got my kit. Oh my gosh, you guys. So I went on there. I was counting down the minute. Like, I had multiple alarms on my phone. So I had an alarm. So it went live at 9 a.m. Central Time, which is 4 p.m. Amsterdam time. And I had no idea what kit I wanted to get, because I realized that one of the kits I basically have all but one of the skeins for, but I could replace that skein because I didn't really like the skein in the kit anyway. But so I was like, well, if I don't get a kit, I'll just use that as a backup. So but luckily I got this Life in the Long Grass, if you can see that. So it's purples and pinks and like a maroonish purpley color. So I think that that'll be really nice. And I don't really, so I tend to stick to like teals and blues and those types of families. So I don't really have anything that's purple or pink. So I really wanted to get something different with this make along. And I also have like red, so I wanted to do something a little bit different. I figured if I'm gonna go all out and get a different kit and make something, you know, Stephen West inspired, then I would go ahead and get something different. So that is on the way. They say that it'll be here before the end of the month. I still have to buy my pattern, but I really wanted to get the kit on the way because the pattern I'm just going to get on Ravelry and then I can just download it whenever it's ready to start on October 8th. So I have spent this week doing that, and I finally picked up. Okay, so do you remember at the very beginning of this year in the United States, we had an inauguration of President Biden. Okay, and the only thing that I remember about it is everyone losing their mind over those Bernie mittens. Do you remember that? It seems like it's been forever. So my partner wanted a pair of Bernie mittens, so I made her a pair of Bernie mittens, and then one of her friends wanted a pair of Bernie mittens, and I had enough yarn left from the skeins that I purchased for my partner's mittens. So I don't know if anybody else has this problem. For some reason, I just have this like aversion to knitting the thumbs on my mittens. I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it. And then I just don't. They just sit there. So I had these mittens all the way knit, except the thumb. So I finished the thumbs. I had both of them done. So I just had to finish the thumbs. And now they're done, and I can give it to her just in time for September when it's 85 degrees outside. Perfect. Right? It's perfect. So, but yeah, hopefully she'll get use out of them this coming winter. They are really warm, so I used so Eat Sleep Knit. If you've ever been on their website, they're amazing. Check them out. They have yarns of all different price ranges by indie dyers, mass produced, all that stuff. And they had I can't remember the name of this yarn, but they made a kit for these mittens minus the pattern. And so these are all natural colored wools. So none of these are dyed. They're all natural colors. It's the browns and the grays and the tans and the natural whites. So I was like, of course, let's sign that up. So the colors aren't exactly what they would be. So the dark brown was like a black in the original Bernie mitten. So these aren't exactly the colors. But I really liked it. My partner really liked it. Her friend really liked it. We're going to go with it. So yeah, so I made those, finally finished them. So that's my only finished object for this week, but they are finally done. Yay, Bernie mittens complete. Okay, so on to whips. So I do have some whips for this week. So I continued working on my Nightshift shawl. That is a design by Andrea Maury. If you've never seen it before, let me pull it up here. did have it pulled up here just a second ago. Sorry about that. Seems to have disappeared. But the Nightshift shawl looks like, so hers looks like this. Okay. So normally you would get, I think it's 6 skeins of worsted weight yarn, and you alternate. So you have like A and B, and then you have A and C, and it just keeps alternating like that. So I had seen on the 4-Star Knits podcast where she had heard from someone else that if you got 2 skeins of Nora Wakari, which is a huge skein when you get it, that if you use, because it's variegated and it's like basically in sections of colors on there, you get kind of the sectioning that you would get in the Nightshift without having to buy 6 skeins of yarn. So instead of paying $180, you're paying like $80. Because these skeins run about $40 a pop. So one of my skeins is mostly pinks and whites, if you can see there. Mostly pinks and whites. And then my other skein is blues and teals. So this is about almost half the size that it was, because I'm about halfway through the shawl. So I've made some good progress on this. Last week it was to about here-ish. And then I've really worked on this last section here. So I'm really liking the way that it's coming out. So you kind of get those, like the blue-purple section, and then the blue section, and then the white section, and then it goes back to the blue, and then the light blue. So you are kind of getting those sections like that, and it is a pretty long triangle. And I'm not to the maximum stitches yet. So we're still increasing at this point. So I'm hoping to get to like the midpoint. And these I'm doing at my ChowGoo interchangeables. And I'm housing this in my Mrs. Brown's bag in the Jazz colorway. This is her large bag, I believe. Her zip-up bag. So I'm hoping to get kind of over the hump on this one to get to start getting to the decreases by this week, but that's coming along, and I haven't been able to put it down. I've done a ton of knitting on it this week, and all I want to work on is that. So I've worked on my second whip is my Danny Boy cardigan, which I don't think I've ever shown a picture of this. I pulled that up as well. Let's see. Okay. So this cardigan looks like that. So it's got a shawl collar on it, and it has a button band, but it doesn't have buttonholes in the pattern. So I don't know if those come later. I looked through the rest of the pattern and I didn't see that there were buttonholes. But if you look at the picture, they sewed buttons on. So I guess they're just for show. But I'm making this for my dad. I'm making it in the colorway that the picture is done in. This is a Knit Picks pattern. It is by, let's see, Stacy Gerbman. And I'm doing it in the Orca colorway of the Knit Picks City Tweed. So here's my progress. So you see the little Yeti there? So I've knit that much. So I've knit a couple inches on it this week. So I made some progress there. So now I'm just getting into the body of the cardigan. So I'm in the stockinette section. So it starts out with a ribbed section and then it goes into a stockinette section. So I'm in the stockinette section, so I'll knit this for the next few inches, and then eventually I will split for the sleeves. I will split the front and back and prepare for the sleeves. So this is knit. So this is an Aran weight yarn. It's very nice, very squishy. I like it a lot. And I'm also knitting this on my ChowGu interchangeables size 9 needles, and it has you put about 4 stitch markers in here. So I'm using my needle runs through it stitch markers. Some of them are Harry Potter, some of them are just knitting, so there's like a little knitted heart, if you can see that. This little stockinette stitch heart. What does this one say? It's a happy birthday Harry, like the cake. So I was getting in the mood for September 1st, for those of you who are not Harry Potter fans, is the day that Harry Potter goes back to school. And I started knitting this in July, and I was getting ready for Harry's birthday, which is July 31st. So I'm loving this so far. It's just a lot of knitting, but we knew that, right? It's a garment. So, but it's coming along. Really loving that. It's just kind of mindless. And then I looked at my other cast-ons, my other whips, and I was like, you know, am I gonna? No. So I cast on something new. So for Christmas, I'm hoping to knit a sock for a few different people, and one of those people is my dad. So I have this is a brand that I've never used before, no idea where I got it from. Rolana Garn Flotasoka Christmas. I probably just killed that name, if you can read that. There we go. And it's really cool because it has a little, like, you can flip it around, and it has like a gift tag on the middle. It's like mit Liebe handgemacht, with love handmade, mit Liebe handgemacht. So that's pretty cool. And it has like the size, and it says like who it's for. Socken für dich, socks for you. So it's pretty cool, and it's supposed to come out in this pattern. Okay, so my German is very limited. I'm assuming this is German. But there's no pattern or anything on it, so I'm just doing a vanilla sock. I am doing top down. I'm hoping that the pattern still comes out top down. I don't know if you're supposed to go toe up. I've never used a pattern sock yarn before. So, but so far I basically have started, so I'm doing Kay, who's the Crazy Sock Lady's vanilla sock pattern on 9-inch circulars. So I've never knit on 9-inch circulars before, so I figured why not. And these are size 1 knit picks. They're nickel plated needles. So I'm about halfway through the ribbing, but yeah, so I started that this week. So hopefully, so I'm gonna make this, and then hopefully I can figure out where to start for the second one. I don't know. So there's gonna be some interesting stuff happening for sure. But if any of you have experience using this type of yarn, let me know, because I don't. This is all an adventure, right? All kinds of knitting adventures going on. Okay, so those are my whips. All right, so I just want to talk about Christmas knitting for a couple minutes. So I started making my list of Christmas knitting, and I have that sweater that I'm making for my dad, socks that I want to make for everyone, and I have a shawl for one of my friends. I have this, so funny story about this shawl, the Nightshift shawl. I told one of my very good friends that I would make it for her last Christmas. It's September. Oops. Yeah, so it's a little late. It's a little late, but it'll get there. So, plus I'm really working hard on it, so it'll get done. It just might get done by this Christmas. So, yeah, I'll have to figure out what to make her for next Christmas if I'm going to make her anything. I might just buy her something, to be honest, because I don't think I have time to make her another shawl before Christmas. And the other shawl that I'm making is a Find Your Fade. So if you've ever made that shawl before, you know that it's like 7 skeins of yarn. It's a lot of knitting. It's like a massive wrap thing. So I have a feeling that may not get done by Christmas, but we'll see. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, who knows. But what do you guys do? Like, do you guys have like a plan for your Christmas knitting, or are you just like, these are the things I want to make, let's go? Because that's I'm kind of option 2 right now. I made a list, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna keep working on them, and I've been knitting on them as I've been thinking about them. But that's pretty much how it is. So a lot of people, when they think of sock knitting, Christmas knitting, they like start super early. Like they start like in January. I am not that organized. I don't know if any of you are. But it's like, I want to make things for everyone, but I just don't have time to make things for everyone. So I'm trying to prioritize and figure out who I want to make socks for, or who I want to make gifts for, and like my priority list for doing that. So yeah, if any of you have this struggle, let me know. Other things that have come up. So did you guys see that Hohi Locatelli's new pattern collection has come out? I'm so excited. It looks really nice. There's a really cool cowl in there I'm really stoked about. I'm going to be stash diving and looking through that. And then, so there's several different pieces to that collection. Look, there's a hat, there's a cowl, there's a shawl, I think there's a sweater, in that collection, but it's so good. So if you haven't seen it, it's like #1 on Ravelry, like all of them are. So please go check that out. She is great. Hohi Locatelli is I've already made a couple of her patterns. I've made the Storm Shawl twice by Hohi Locatelli, and I've made the Hipster Cowl by Hohi Locatelli, and I have the Long Summer Cardigan, which keeps getting pushed back because it's for me. So I'm one of those people where I'm like, I can't just knit for me, I have to knit for other people, right? So I keep pushing back my own stuff. But the one thing that I will be knitting for me is shawlography. That is where I'm drawing the line. So I'm trying to get all of this knitting done for other people, or as much as I can done before that starts in a month. But yeah, her new patterns are awesome. You should check them out if you haven't already. They're available on her website, as well as her Ravelry. So if you just Google Hohi Locatelli, it'll come up. And then she also she has 2 different websites. She has a website for her patterns, and then she has a website for Hohi & Co., which is the bag company that she owns. So just be aware that those are 2 different things. And then Wes Knits came out with the fiery leaves shawl, and he came out with new kits for that. So it looks like So it's like all oranges and reds and very fall leafy colors. But you could do it in any color. And then the pattern is like a leaf pattern going through. So it's pretty cool. You should check it out if you haven't already. So those are some new patterns that I saw this week that I was really liking. I don't know that I would pay for the kit for the fiery leaf one, because I think it's in Shing fiber and it's like it's like crazy. It's like 170 something euros. And like, I don't know about you guys, but like, I don't have that kind of money to be spending on that. But, and I already spent all my money on the shawlography. So there's that. What else? I am also looking for some new podcasts to watch. So if you have any new ones to watch, I realized that there are a few that I didn't mention in the first episode that I also watch. I watch a Lefty Knitter podcast. Love her. Aquila is great. Highly recommend her. If you haven't checked her out already, would. Chevy Rell has her own channel. She does swear though in her channel, so just be aware of that, and she's usually drinking something. But she's really funny and really down to earth, and I really love her. She does so many different crafts, and she has like the stuff room, and it's a whole thing. So definitely check her out. So those were two, and then there was another one that I watched. Arno and Carlos, I think I mentioned them. And Andy the Knitress. Free Your Sheet podcast. And there are so many podcasts out there, guys. Karina's Handmade. That's what it is. So many podcasts out there, but I'm always looking for new ones because I feel like I just never have enough content, because I like to listen to them while I'm working or while I'm doing other things. So if you have any other suggestions for podcasts, I would love to hear them. I'm always looking for a new knitting podcast. And I think that's about all I have for this week. Hopefully by next week I will have a mouse update, and I will have done some more work on these. Hopefully the Nightshift will be almost done by then, and I hope that you all have a wonderful 3-day weekend if you have tomorrow off. Otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Thanks for joining me. Bye.